Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Young Women in Entrepreneurship, the webinar series where we teach you how to successfully run a small business. Today, we are joined by Evangeline Clarke, president of Second Thought Gifts. Evie, would you like to tell us a little bit about you and your business?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hi, my name is Evangeline. In August, I'm going to be a senior in high school. And a couple years ago, I founded a business called Second Thoughts Gifts. In Second Thoughts Gifts, I design and market practical art pieces made from recycled or repurposed materials. This business, Second Thoughts, got really started in during the Arizona Children's Business Fair in 2015. And then when I was thinking about what my business should be focused on, I remembered that I have always been interested in arts and crafts. And I realized that we had so much leftover materials and from these various projects, since I'm a very crafty. And so I set out to create and repurpose with these materials in unintended ways, like making wine glass charms from jewelry making materials or coasters from old tiles and scrapbook materials. And this product line has grown from housewares and gifts to clothing and accessories. And now that I've aged out of the children's business fair, I maintain an Etsy storefront.
Great. Thanks for sharing a little bit about you and your business. It's great to know some background about what really was the origins of your small business. So, what I was curious about are what interests or experiences inspired you to start your business? So, we noticed that Second Thoughts Gifts is particularly focused on reducing product waste from landfills. So, what kind of led you to this emphasis on sustainability?
Yeah. So when I thought about it, it occurred to me that what I was experiencing with numerous art projects probably affected many businesses too. And they would end up with an overflow of unused materials that ultimately would end up being thrown out. I thought that maybe there was a way to capture and use some of these perfectly good materials and repurpose them into something other than landfill. And so I decided to reach out to interior designers because they used a lot of the same materials that I was using with like fabric, paper, tiles, notions. And I was quickly overwhelmed with the amount of materials that they typically landfill. It was way more than I could possibly use for a little children's business fair. And so I realized after some research that I learned that interior designer industry generates about 10.5 million tons of waste a year. And so every season, interior designers would their sample books would change and they would clear out their old books and material and make room for the new material. But these old books and materials would be still perfectly usable just a month out of fashion, apparently. But it still could be used to create very practical and yet very beautiful things at the same time. But also, as a middle school student, I often heard my teachers complain that there was no budget for art materials. And so, as a side project, I started placing some of these outdated interior design materials through various programs or schools throughout the valley. It was really only a side project, but it is something I hope to formalize in the coming year as I get more time in my schedule as a senior.
Wow, I had no idea that the interior design business generated so much like landfill material. I had no clue, and it's really inspirational that you were able to take that issue that you saw in your local community and kind of expand that into the thriving business you have today. So that's amazing. So I know that, your business is quite successful, but I'm sure it wasn't always a smooth road. So what are some challenges that you experienced at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. So I am naturally introverted and naturally hate public speaking. It is definitely not my favorite activity. And so this first children's business fair that I participated in, I was in third grade. And so it was not fun at all. It was not a good experience for me. I realized I love making the products, but I absolutely hated any interaction that there was about selling them or speaking with customers. And it did not mix well. I wanted to quit the very first time, but um, I think the first time, like I got home and I like just ranted on and on and on about how much I hated it. But my family encouraged me and I stuck with it. And each time it got a little bit easier, there was a little less ranting. And this experience definitely has had has built my confidence and has given definitely a positive impact on so many aspects of both my business and my school career.
Wow, well, it's amazing to know that you were able to overcome your initial, fear of public speaking and how your business really helped you foster your own confidence and public speaking skills. So that's really great to know. So I know that you started your business while you were still, quite young, and now you're about to be a senior in high school. So you've been a student the entire time you've been running this business. So I was curious, as a student, how are you able to balance school and your business?
The answer to this question has definitely eluded me for quite some time. It can definitely be overwhelming, the balance between school and my business. And I've definitely got better about setting these boundaries and letting my customers know that my first priority is as a student because I am in high school, and the complications of high school get more complicated and more complicated. And so I have to definitely had to set boundaries so that delivering my product doesn't interfere with my school obligations. And I definitely have been more realistic about my ability to deliver these products and especially custom products during the school year. And so I either direct these customers who want these custom products to my summer hours or encourage them to buy based just off of my inventory that I've created. And during the COVID lockdown, I was terrible at maintaining boundaries. And there were definitely a few times when I spent classes sewing or making something for my business, well, just the teacher's lecture as some sort of background music or something. And in hindsight, that may have not been a great idea because it led me to have unrealistic expectations about delivery time and the work balance idea. And once I returned back to in-person classes, it was definitely unsustainable, and I definitely had to realize and reset these goals of how fast I can complete these orders and how fast I can create my products.
I'm really glad that you mentioned how important it is to set boundaries in establishing a work-life balance with your business, because I think something that, especially a lot of young women trying to get into like their careers or trying to launch their own entrepreneurial efforts, they struggle with setting boundaries, especially in, this new field where they feel underrepresented. So I'm really glad that you mentioned how important it is to, prioritize your well-being and set boundaries about your delivery times. So, kind of branching off of that, I was curious, what advice would you give to someone, especially, a young girl who is also interested in starting a business?
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned earlier, I did not love it. And so as I grew more confident and um more belief in my abilities to do it, I would definitely say perseverance is one of the best qualities an entrepreneur can have, as when things are difficult, you have to power through, and these challenges may seem insurmountable or too difficult, or you just don't want to face them initially, but you will improve with every single iteration. Just like me, as I went to about like 7 more business fairs, and each time I really liked it more and more. And also, you have to be willing to take risks and try to implement your ideas, as they may not work out, but they certainly won't advance without trying them and willing to do it in the first place. You have to be able to set out there and start selling, start creating these products that you may think is too risky or too unsure of an area for you to go into that area.
Mm, Well, it seems that, being persistent and being willing to take risks and having confidence in your product is something that, we've like a lot of previous people we've interviewed have also said the same thing. So it's really interesting to see how that's a really common and really important piece of advice that we see. It really goes to show how important it is to, have confidence in yourself and be able to continue despite adversity when trying to, run a small business. So I just have one more question before we wrap up. How do you hope to grow or expand your entrepreneurial efforts in the future?
Yeah, I've definitely been making efforts to expand my business in recent years as I created the Etsy business after the Children's Business Fair in about 2017. And then I officially incorporated after that in 2018. And officially incorporating was a very great learning experience and a great building block for your business. And another effort that I hope to make this year is I hope to use this summer to focus on improving my efficiency and understanding how I can grow and streamline the business in light of me becoming a senior and the college applications and how to just efficiently use my time making products and also yet again being a student. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd been reaching out to schools across the valley, and so I'm really hoping to formalize that collaboration between schools and interior designers. And I know this is hopeful, but I want to expand it across the city and across the state and hopefully across the country just to improve um, landfills and improve efficiency in my business and in the world of entrepreneurship.
Wow, well, the team at Invest in Her wishes Second Thoughts Gifts the best of luck with your, future expansion. I'm sure it will be absolutely amazing. So that wraps up our interview with Evangeline Clarke from Second Thoughts Gifts. Thank you everyone for watching, and we hope this too inspires you to take the jump to start your own small business. If you like this webinar, follow us on Instagram at invest.in.her or our YouTube channel of the same name. Thank you again, everyone.